Hello everyone. My name is Avril Singh and my student ID is 220867770. I'll be presenting the title slide, Introduction, Why this topic matters, and problem definition for our project on driving sustainable growth in Indian textile SMEs. On behalf of Group 34, I'm pleased to welcome you to our independent applied research presentation titled Driving Sustainable Growth in Indian Textile SMEs, a pathway to inclusive GDP growth. Our study is based on case study 1, which explores barriers to GDP growth in developing nations and evaluates the strategic role of SMEs in addressing them. The Indian context offered us a powerful lens to examine these issues. Especially, we focused on the textile sector in Surat and Tirupur. These two hubs play a massive role in India's economy, generating exports, supporting employment, and driving regional development. Yet, they also face massive challenges: environmental degradations, global trade pressures, and limited access to sustainable innovation. We approached this study like a consulting assignment. Our goal was to diagnose the challenges, evaluate the landscape using academic frameworks, and finally recommended practical, scalable solution. We didn't want this to be a theoretical exercise. We want it to be actionable. In next 20 minutes, we will walk you through the full journey from identifying the issue, analyzing the environment, and suggesting strategies to envisioning a sustainable future of India textile SMEs. The presentation is structured across multiple dimensions, such as problem definition, theoretical frameworks, data insights, practices, and both short and long term recommendations. We believe this issue matters not just for India's economic development, but for also for environmental sustainability and social inclusion. So let's dive into the context and set the stage. Introduction. India's SME sector is vast and vibrant. With over 63 million SMEs, this sector contributes nearly 30% to India's GDP and employs over 110 million. The textile industry within this sector is of special significance. It alone contributes 2% of the national GDP and 12% of total exports. Surat and Tirupur are two major textile hubs producing everything from synthetic fabrics to cotton garments. However, these hubs are now facing mounting challenges with increasing global attention on sustainability and traceability. India's textile SMEs must adapt. The government has pledged net zero emission by 2070, and compliance pressures are rising due to new trade regulations like the EU's carbon border adjustment mechanism. Yet on the ground, many SMEs are still operating with outdated technologies. They lack awareness of sustainable practices, have minimal access to financing, and work within infrastructure gaps. These presents a dual crisis and opportunity: the crisis of falling behind and the opportunity to leapfrog in sustainable leadership. Our team asked a question: how can these SMEs remain competitive while becoming environmentally responsible? We wanted to explore this intersection of economic development and sustainability and find a path that makes sense for India. Why this topic matters? This topic matters more than today, ever before. Globally, there is an increasing demand for sustainable supply chains. Large importers, especially in Europe and North America, are requiring traceability, ethical sourcing, and proof of environmental compliance. For India SMEs, this is not just about ethics, it's about survival. Surat and Tirupur are at the center of this transformation. These cities together account for a significant share of India's textile production, but they are also very responsible for high levels of water and air pollution. Tirupur alone was once blacklisted by international buyers due to river contamination. If we can help SMEs in this region transition to cleaner, more efficient practices, they can become models for replication nationwide. On the flip side, if we fail to act, India risks losing out of faster moving competitors like Vietnam and Bangladesh. Moreover, this transformation isn't just about meeting external expectation. It can help India's SMEs cut costs, improve product quality, attract new customers, and even unlock green financing. So the stakes are high, but so are the opportunities. Let's zoom in into the core problems. Our secondary research revealed that over 40% of India's textile dye wastewater comes from Surat and Tirupur. Much of it's released untreated into rivers, damaging both the environment and public health. The industry also relies heavily on coal-based boilers, contributing to significant greenhouse gas emissions. When it comes to compliance, the picture is bleak. Only about 30% of textiles SMEs have adopted any kind of sustainability standards, be it eco labels, certifications, or audits. More business owners are unaware of programs like GOTS or OEKOTX. The rest either find it too costly or too complicated. Financial constraints are another major issue. Installing zero liquid discharge systems or energy efficient machinery requires investments. Certifications alone can cost 2 to 3 lakh per unit. Moreover, government infrastructure like common influent treatment plants is either missing or poorly managed. This creates a vicious cycle. SMEs can't export without compliance. They can't afford compliance without revenue. They can't generate revenue without access to international markets. Our goal is to break this cycle. I'll now hand over to Noel, who will walk you through the theoretical framework we used and the key findings from our environmental assessment.
Thank you, Abhinav. My name is Noel Reddy, and my student ID is 220866173. I'll be covering the theoretical framework, triple bottom line stakeholder analysis, data resources, environmental challenges in our research. To understand and to solve the complex challenges, we grounded the research in three key frameworks: pistil analysis, stakeholder theory, and the triple bottom line. Starting with the pistil analysis. Political. The Indian government supports sustainability in policy but faces issue in consistent enforcement at the local level. Economic. SME work with the razor-thin margin, making investment in green technology feel risky. Social. Consumer awareness is rising, especially among global buyers who demands ethical product. Technological. There are limited access to updated and affordability clean technology for the SME. Legal. International trade laws are evolving rapidly. Compliance is no longer optional. Environmental pollutions from textile hub is under scrutiny. Sorry for that. Failure to reform could result in trade bans. Next, we have applied stakeholder theory in the context. Key stakeholders include SME owners, workers, government agencies, local communities, NGO, trade association, and global buyers. Any meaningful strategy must align their interest and create shared accountability. Finally, the triple bottom line framework reminded us that sustainable growth must balance three things: people, planet, and profit. Profit alone is no longer a sufficient measure of success. Our recommendation aim to help SMEs remain profitable while supporting social equity and environmental protection. Triple bottom line and stakeholder analysis. Through the lens of triple bottom line, we found the most SMS is still largely focused on profit. They prioritize cost cutting and delivery timeliness over worker safety, waste management, or eco-friendly practices. But the landscape is shifting. People's workers are becoming more aware of their rights, and safe factory conditions and wage delays are being reported more frequently. Training and upskilling initiative can improve productivity and morale. Planet. Public concern over pollution is rising. Surat textile effluents have impacted drinking water, while Tirupur Noyal River face near ecological collapse. Addressing environmental risk is crucial for public health and long-term viability. Profit. Global buyers are now including sustainability in contact requirements. Brands are unwilling to partner with suppliers who can't offer traceability or certification. This direct links profitability and sustainability. From the stakeholder perspective, we also observe increased collaboration. NGOs are stepping in to train SME. Government agencies are offering grants. Buyers are providing toolkits, but this efforts remain fragmented. Our proposal is to consolidate these actors into coherent system. Data sources. Our analysis is grounded in reliable and diverse secondary sources. We use government data from the Ministry of Textile, industry reports from McKinsey and Company, and environmental findings from UNIDO. Export-related data from IBEF and local insights from the Tirupur Exports Association. Using multiple data streams help us to validate the credibility of a finding. For an example, McKinsey Fashion on Climate report helped us on benchmark Indian textile emission local global norms, while the Ministry of Textile provided ground level implementation data. The triangulation process allowed us to identify not only what the issues are, but also the interventions are most needed. We also found that 30% of Indian textile SMEs have adopted any form of sustainability certification. This is not just a compliance issue, it's a missed opportunity. Certification opens door to premium global buyers, many of whom are now mandating traceability and ethical production as a part of the sourcing requirement. Environmental findings. Our environmental analysis highlights three major problem areas: water pollution, air pollution, and waste management. A staggering portion of a wastewater from Surat and Tirupur discharge untreated. Contamination rivers are impacting local communities. In 2003, UNIDO report estimates that more than 500 millions of untreated waters are released per day during peak operations. Air pollution, most SMEs use outdated coal-fired boilers, which significantly increase carbon emission. Switching to solar or a gas-based system could reduce GHG emission by up 40%. According to the Ministry of Environment Waste Management, there is a widespread lack of system for segregating and recycled textile waste. Without intervention, this poses both environmental and regulatory risk. This level of environmental degradation is no longer sustainable. It's not only affect local health and biodiversity, but also in India, the eligibility in key export make markets that are introducing sustainability linked trade requirements. With that, I'll now pass it over to Ankush Kumar, who will explore the business pressure and the highlights replicable best practice across India and Textile Hub. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ankush Kumar and my student ID is 220844229. I'll be explaining the business pressures faced by SMEs, examples of best practices, and our short-term recommendations. From a business perspective, textile SMEs face a series of compounding pressures. Margins are extremely tight. Many operate on a made-to-order basis with a flexible for innovations certification like GOTS or OEKO tax or expensive tagging of 2-3 lakhs per unit. And many SME owners are unaware of how to apply to qualify. Additionally, the lack of market education around sustainability combined with poor access to credit and clean technologies forces this business to reactive mode. As a result, they prioritize low cost over long term value. Global buyers who want to clean supply chains may skip Indian SMEs altogether, which hurts not only the business but also GDP growth. It's important to recognize that many of these business owners are first generation entrepreneurs who rely heavily on traditional practice and don't have a technical training or advisor support needed for sustainability transitions. Language barriers, paperwork, complexity, and the fear of disruptions day by day operation often hold them back. There is also a cultural resistance to change, especially if benefits are visible in short time. Furthermore, SMEC operate a hyper-competitive environment. They often compete not only with local firms but also with manufacturers from Vietnam, Bangladesh, and China, who may already have lower production costs and better environmental certifications. This adds to the urgency. Or if Indians SMEC fails to upgrade this risk complete executions of global value chains, there's physiological factor to many SME owners perceive sustainability as a cost rather than an investment. Changing this mindset is a crucial as a changing the infrastructure. That's where education, success stories, and financial play a key role. Next slide, please. Best practices. Still, there is a hope in Tripura. Cluster level ETPs have reduced pollution by up to 85%. The city exports have adopted solar technologies and digital dashboards to monitor water usage. Surat is making strides through rainwater harvesting and zero liquid discharge policies. Moreover, schemes like integrate processing development schemes provide infrastructure support to common facilities. These examples show the change is possible. What's indeed is scale. Initiatives and consistent enforcement is addition to government schemes. Peer learning to emerge as a powerful driver. When one SME successful implements a sustainability measure with the six results, other often follow. This ripple effect can be amplified by organizing cluster level workshop study tools and peer motorized programs. Also, collaborations with NGOs and international bodies can bring in both technical expertise and credibility. Public-private partnerships can help bridge the gap between policy and implementations. For example, partnerships with organizations like UNIDO or GIZ can help roll out cleaner technologies, provide training with set benchmarks. Next slide, please. Short-time recommendations. Our short-term plan includes awareness campaigns through trade associations and digital platforms, government-backed pilot project to test low-cost clean technologies, sustainability dashboards to help SMEs track their water, waste, and energy use in real time. This initiative can be rolled out within 6 to 12 months and target hundreds of SMEs in textile hubs. By focusing on visibility education and simple digital tools, we can create a momentum of green transformation. Now, I like to invite Sumit Singh to take us through long-term studies and our concluding thoughts.
Hello everyone, my name is Sumit Singh and my student ID is 220900691. I'll be presenting our long-term strategies, future scenarios, conclusion and call to actions and references. Now let's talk about the long-term plan. How can we future-proof India's textile SMEs? Our group has proposed four key strategies. First one is tax incentives. We recommend offering 10 to 15% rebates on certificates sustainable SMEs, but instead of flat subsidies, we propose performance-based incentives. That means SMEs are rewarded for hitting specific sustainable benchmarks like reducing emissions or improving work safety. Second one is a green loan fund. We envision a 500 crore green loan fund jointly operated by SIDBI and public sector banks. This fund would not only offer concessions loan but also advisory support, helping SMEs choose appropriate technologies, file paperwork for certifications, and plan their upgrades in phases. Number three is certification subsidies. The cost of a certification like GOTs and OEKO and TEX can be a huge barrier. We propose subsidizing 60 to 70% of these costs to help SMEs by demands. We also recommend bundling certifications with training so it's not just a tick box exercise but a genuine transformation. Number four is green cluster. Our most ambitious proposal is to build 10 sustainable SMEs textile cluster by 2030. These clusters would have shared solar energy system, common ATPs, digital monitoring platforms, and on-site training centers. With scale, these facilities become financially viable and more attractive to investors. Additionally, we propose creating a Green SMEs Index, a tool that rates SMEs based on sustainability metrics. This rating can be used by global buyers, bankers, and even consumers to make informed decisions. It's like a credit score, but for sustainability. We also emphasize the needs for robust monitoring and evaluation. All government-funded schemes should be audited annually with metrics tracked in real time using smart dashboards. Without transparency, policies often fail to deliver lasting impacts. Let's now consider two future scenarios. Scenario one, proactive reforms. If we implement these strategies now, India textile SMEs could become world leader in sustainable fashion. Export volume would rise. International brands would partner with Indian suppliers. New jobs would be created, not just production, but also in clean tech, logistics, and green finance. And India could become a case study in how emerging economies transition their industries without compromising growth. This scenario offers economic resilience, environmental stability, and global recognition. Scenario two is delayed action. If we wait for act inconsistently, the opposite will happen. SMEs will let out of international deals. Consumers will lose cleaner alternatives for other countries. Unemployment in textile hubs could rise. The ecological damage already visible will um, become irreversible. This scenario are not predictions; they are choices, and we believe India still time to choose the better path. To conclude, let's recap. Surat and Tirupur are not just textile cities, they are gateways to India's green transition. Sustainability is no longer optional, it is tied directly to GDPs, jobs, and global competitiveness. Practical, phased, and well supported reforms can turn today's risk into tomorrow's leadership. Our call to action is threefold. Number one is policy, simplify procession, incentivize green performance, and hold stakeholders accountable. Number two is infrastructure with shared treatment and energy system at scale. Number three is finance, make green money flow where it's needed most. India's 36 million SMEs. Together, these pillars can form foundation of sustainable, inclusive, and export-ready economy. Before we end, I'd like to highlight that our research has backed a wide range of credible secondary sources, which have been properly cited in Harvard referencing format. Use McKinsey and Company 2022 Fashion on Climate report to understand global benchmark and climate impacts of textile production. Unit 2023 for ground level case studies and environmental impact data for Indian SMEs. IBEF 23 and the Ministry of Textile 2024 for sector specification data on GDP contribution, employment figure, and policy framework. We also drew on insight from the Tripura Explorer Association, which gave us a local lens on sustainability transformation already underway. Our aim was to ensure all arguments made in this presentation were evidence-based, practical, and aligned with the global business and sustainability trends. Full reference details are available in the bibliography section of our written submission, and all source used comply with the university's academic integrity guidelines. Thank you for your attention.